Lu Yuan attacked Duan Lingtian with merely his palm, and he didn't utilize any spirit weapons. Perhaps, as far as he was concerned, Duan Lingtian wasn't worthy of his utilizing a spirit weapon. In next to no time, he realized that no matter if he utilized a spirit weapon or not, the outcome would be the same. When faced with Lu Yuan's palm that struck towards him like a bolt of lightning, and as he felt the piercingly cold winds emitted by Lu Yuan's palm that assaulted his face, Duan Lingtian didn't dodge as he raised his hand and pointed out. Tempest Point. A strand of material origin energy point force shot out from the tip of Duan Lingtian's finger, and its surroundings were coiled by a strand of azure-colored energy and a strand of violet-colored energy. They were precisely Duan Lingtian's 8th level wind concept and 3rd level lightning concept. Lu Yuan's palm that struck towards Duan Lingtian couldn't be said to be slow. Swish. But unfortunately, the speed Duan Lingtian pointed out with his finger was even swifter, and it easily penetrated Lu Yuan's palm. Then it didn't slow down in the slightest as it pierced in between Lu Yuan's brows before he has the chance to let out a shrill cry. Instantly, a savage and terrifying bloody hole appeared between Lu Yuan's brows, and it ceaselessly gushed with dazzling and resplendent blood. You. Lu Yuan's body trembled for no reason as his penetrated palm fell limply at his side, and he struggled to glance at Duan Lingtian with eyes that were filled with extreme terror. In the next moment, his body couldn't hold on any longer, and it plunged to the ground. Bang! Lu Yuan crashed onto the ground, and he was completely devoid of any signs of life. For a time, no matter if it was within the gorge or in the sky above the gorge, the entire world had fallen into deathly silence. Sect leader Lu Yuan has been killed. My God! Exactly who is the person that has come? He seems to have only used a single attack to kill sect leader Lu Yuan. It's too far away, I'm utterly unable to see that person's face clearly. Alas, if only I possessed a cultivation at the void prying stage or above. I can only stand here and look from afar, yet be unable to see anything. It's truly depressing. The crowd of demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples in the gorge went into an uproar once again, and most of them were astonished by what had happened. Lu Yuan was the vice-sect leader of their demonic Lotus Blade sect and possessed a cultivation at the 6th level of the Void initiation stage. But it was exactly an existence like this that was killed in a single move, whereas, the group of people led by the demonic Lotus Blade sect's leader, Lu Yuan, were completely dumbstruck. They glanced down from afar at Lu Yuan's corpse before being unable to refrain from raising their heads to look at the violet-clothed young man in the distance. For a time, only disbelief and shock remained within their gazes. Duan Lingtian killed Lu Yuan with a single move. If they didn't see the scene before with their own two eyes, who amongst them would believe that everything that happened earlier was real? Now, they finally understood why Duan Lingtian was so confident from the beginning until the end. It turned out that he'd already possessed a strength at the 7th level of the Void initiation stage or above. Even though the phenomenon of the heaven and the earth couldn't completely condense into form in time when Duan Lingtian attacked earlier, they were practically able to be sure that Duan Lingtian was absolutely an existence at the 7th level of the Void initiation stage or above. If he wasn't an existence at the 7th level of the Void initiation stage or above, would he be capable of killing Lu Yuan, who was at the 6th level of the Void initiation stage, with a single move? Will the next be you, or perhaps all of you? Duan Lingtian's gaze flashed past Long Wei before descending onto Shuirui, and then it finally descended onto the guardian elders of the demonic Lotus Blade sect. All these old fellows were existences at the 6th level of the Void initiation stage. When the 7-star sword sect was annihilated 5 years ago, Long Wei, Shuirui, and all these old fellows were the culprits. It could be said that practically all the higher UPS of the 7-star sword sect had died at their hands. Of course, there was also Zhao Ming and Tang Huo. But those two were trapped within the inscription formation at the Darkstone Empire at this moment, and it was impossible for them to escape in a short period of time. Long Wei, Shuirui, and the guardian elders of the demonic Lotus Blade sect looked at each other when they heard this, and their expressions were livid, yet none of them dared answer Duan Lingtian. What a joke! Even Lu Yuan was killed by Duan Lingtian with a single move. Even if there were people with strength stronger than Lu Yuan amongst them, it wouldn't be much stronger. They were sure that if they dared go against Duan Lingtian, it would surely result in certain death. So they didn't dare make any movements. Long Wei and the others looked at Duan Lingtian with an extremely complicated gaze. 5 years ago, when they led the Azure Forest Tri-sect to head to the 7-star sword sect and annihilate it, Duan Lingtian was only a nascent soul stage martial artist, and he was weak like an ant in their eyes. 5 years later, when they met Duan Lingtian once more and saw Duan Lingtian kill a 7th level void prying stage elder of their demonic Lotus Blade sect with a single move, they couldn't help but be surprised by this. They were surprised by Duan Lingtian's improvement in these 5 years. Subsequently, Lu Yuan had attacked Duan Lingtian, yet he was still killed by Duan Lingtian in a single move. At that moment, they had the feeling as if they were dreaming. Yet their strained nerves were telling them at all times that they weren't dreaming, and all of this was real. At this moment, the other higher UPS and the group of demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples that surrounded Duan Lingtian's group couldn't help but retreat slightly, and they looked at Duan Ling Tian with gazes filled with terror. Especially the ground of demonic Lotus Blade sect disciples. Earlier, they were whispering in discussion and felt that so long as their ancestor was present, then it would be impossible for Duan Ling Tian to do anything to the demonic Lotus Blade sect even after another 10 or 20 years. But when they witnessed Duan Ling Tian's strength, they instead didn't dare think about it anymore. What a joke! If a young expert that was capable of breaking through from the nascent soul stage to the 7th level of the void initiation stage in a short 5 years of time was given another 10 or 20 years, they wouldn't be surprised even if he broke through to the void transformation stage. Qin Xiang and Mou stood behind Duan Ling Tian, and they couldn't help but reveal a smile of happiness. At this moment, they felt proud and elated. Even the sharp eyes of the rock that circled in the air couldn't help but be suffused with a slightly gratified expression when he looked at Duan Ling Tian. He suddenly felt that the group of experts of the 7-star sword sect laying down their lives to send Duan Ling Tian out of the sect 5 years ago was such a wise decision. It was precisely because of this that Duan Ling Tian was able to survive. 5 years. A mere 5 years of time. Yet the youth from all those years ago already possessed the strength to take revenge for the 7-star sword sect, a strength that even he had to look up to. If the people in the scene who were the calmest were noted, then it would surely be Feng Wu Dao, Feng Tianwu, and Elder Kong, who stood at the side. They'd only followed Duan Ling Tian to watch the show. Of course, they wouldn't stand idly by if Duan Ling Tian encountered something he wasn't able to deal with. Duan Ling Tian, even though both of us are standing on opposite sides, I have to admit that you're indeed an unparalleled genius in the martial Dao. In a mere 5 years of time, you transformed from a nascent soul stage martial artist into an expert at the 7th level of the void initiation stage or above. Your natural talent is sufficient to look down upon all the geniuses of the younger generation in the Darkhan dynasty. Long Wei looked at Duan Ling Tian with a serious expression. Your Azure Forest Trisect. Oh wait, I almost forgot, all of you aren't the Azure Forest Trisect any longer. Your demonic Lotus Blade sect has an absolutely irreconcilable enmity with me. Don't dream that a few words of praise will make me stop. Duan Ling Tian glanced coldly and indifferently at Long Wei as he spoke. Duan Ling Tian, Xue Chen said with a low voice. We admit that your strength is extremely strong, and it's even stronger than all of us. If it was before, our demonic Lotus Blade sect would perhaps be annihilated at your hand. But our demonic Lotus Blade sect's ancestor has appeared today, and even if you've broken through to the 7th level of the void initiation stage, you're dead without a doubt. Perhaps to emphasize Shui Rui's words, The black-clothed middle-aged man that sat cross-legged on the lotus seat at a low altitude vanished along with his lotus seat in the blink of an eye. When he appeared once again, he'd already appeared before Long Wei, and he looked at Duan Ling Tian with a calm expression. You broke through from a nascent soul stage martial artist to become a 7th level void initiation stage martial artist in 5 years. Jia Hong's words contained no lack of a questioning tone. Duan Ling Tian glanced indifferently at Jia Hong, and he shrugged with a slight lack of interest. Old fellow, don't talk to me with such a tone. I'm not one of your demonic Lotus Blade sect's disciples. Presumptuous. Duan Ling Tian, how dare you be disrespectful to the supreme elder of my demonic Lotus Blade sect? Practically the instant Duan Ling Tian finished speaking, Long Wei, Shuirui, and another few guardian elders of the demonic Lotus Blade sect went grim as they shouted out angrily. Presumptuous. Disrespectful. Duan Ling Tian laughed with disdain and ridicule. I was presumptuous and disrespectful to him. So what? Could it be that all of you want to make a move against me? You. The expressions of Long Wei and the others were extremely unsightly when being ridiculed like this by Duan Ling Tian, yet they just happened to not dare reply or make a move. If you don't dare make a move, then take care of your own mouths. Trash. Duan Ling Tian laughed coldly as he trampled upon the dignity of Long Wei and the others. Trash. The expressions of Long Wei, Shuirui, and the other guardian elders of the demonic Lotus Blade sect darkened. When had they ever suffered such humiliation? However, even if they were humiliated by Duan Ling Tian like this, they could only endure and not dare flare up. Duan Ling Tian's strength was too strong to them, and it was far from something they could go against. Once they made a move against him, the outcome would be no different than Lu Yuan. Ha ha ha. Right when Long Wei and the others wanted to ask the Jia Hong to make a move against Duan Ling Tian, Jia Hong had suddenly burst out in laughter. Duan Ling Tian frowned. This old fellow of the demonic Lotus Blade sect wouldn't have gone mad, right? Little fellow. Jia Hong looked at Duan Ling Tian with interest as he said slowly, I heard from Long Wei earlier that you only spent 5 years of time to break through to the 7th level of the void initiation stage from the nascent soul stage. Needless to say, you're a man of great potential. Duan Ling Tian still paid no attention when he heard Jia Hong, and his eyes that flickered with cold lights and emitted killing intent stared fixedly at Long Wei and the others. Duan Ling Tian's killing intent caused the expressions of Long Wei and the others to become extremely unsightly, and all of them felt their scalps go numb. Little fellow, since the 7-star sword sect was annihilated, It can only be said that the 7-star sword sect is useless and doesn't possess the qualifications to become your sect. How about you take me as your master? Jia Hong looked at Duan Lingtian and publicly tried to poach Duan Lingtian from the 7-star sword sect.